Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker. You are listening to Picks and Pours, number 50. Made it to a half century of this segment where I bring on my buddy Matt the Mechanic and he gives his picks for the upcoming UFC event. So with that, let me bring in Matt the Mechanic. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, Bill, how you doing? I'm just over here trying to figure out how I get that hat that Mr. Smith was wearing at the Oscars or Grammys. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're talking about the young Will Smith's kid?
Yeah, that big castle on his
Yeah,
head.
he's wearing like a black castle on his head.
Yeah, it's sick.
Sadly, it's the only thing I heard about the Grammys.
Oh, I don't believe that for a minute, Bill.
And it's not really that stuff's not really part of my algorithm. I know Kendrick Lamar went home with like a handful of Grammys.
I still don't believe you. I think you saw Mr. Kanye West.
Oh, his girlfriend showed up naked, right?
Yeah, I think she was naked. Yeah.
Oh,
I think he did it just to sell some swimsuits. I think she was wearing a swimsuit that's not very covering. I think it's on
really?
sale for like $27. So
Yeah, I saw a couple of clips of people talking about it. It wasn't really.
I can't imagine how many. If this swimsuit sells a lot, the beaches will look much different this summer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's warming up here in Florida. It got too close to 80 degrees, so I had to hack my beard off. It was too hot.
Yeah, our air conditioning's broke at work. It's been broke all winter, and I got to start hammering down on the boss to fix it.
Yeah, that's going to be brutal.
Well, I worked for 6 years with no air conditioning there, so it can be done. It'd help you shed a couple of lbs.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you'd be sweating in there for sure.
Yeah, it's rough, but I'll live.
I had an awesome weekend of combat sports last weekend because the UFC was on early. My wife and daughter went to a birthday party or something. So I was sitting in the backyard, had a cigar, got to watch the whole main card. Good fights. And then I went over to the Muay Thai gym where I was watching amateur Muay Thai all night because I am now the regional, no, the state supervisor for the WBC in the state of Florida. So I had to oversee the judges for that event. It was a good time. My two teammates won their fights, and the main event was probably the best Muay Thai fight I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that work with you being on the commission or whatever and you having fighters and the teammates? I would keep that shit to yourself, Bill.
Well, it's actually fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm not I wasn't cornering them. Muay Thai is like such a small community. You basically can't have someone who knows anything about Muay Thai that's not involved with a gym that has fighters competing. So, normally the guy who does that job, he usually comes from San Antonio and he has a bunch of fighters on the card, and you just have to be objective and then just say, you're really only there in case a judge really fucks something up, which actually was the case in the main event because, long story short, it was red versus blue. Red scored a knockdown in the first round, and blue got a standing 8 count, which means you automatically lose the round. One judge flipped red and blue, scored the first round for blue, even though he got 8 counted. And it fucked up his whole scorecard, and the fight was scored a draw based on him messing up. So we had to ask him, like, why'd you score the first round for blue? And he said, because of the 8 count. Like, no, you reversed the columns.
The wrong guy. Well,
yeah, so we had to overturn that. The right guy wound up winning, and luckily the crowd didn't go crazy or anything. But yeah, Sunset Fight Promotions. the fight took place right in my gym, MJM City Otong in Clearwater. And it was an awesome night of fights. 10 amateur Muay Thai fights, and like each one better than the last.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good time. And before we get into the MMA stuff, I've got this bottle here. Since this is picks and pours, and I haven't been doing much of the pours lately. St. Patrick's Day next month, so I start getting in the mood for Irish whiskey around this time of year, and I start looking for new ones. So this is called Natterjack Irish Whiskey. And for those audio-only listeners, I'm holding up a picture of the bottle. It's got this angry-looking toad on it. That's a Natterjack toad, which is the only toad that's native to Ireland, and it doesn't hop.
Well,
it kind of runs like a little bulldog.
I like the bottle shape. It's already got points in my book.
Yeah, the bottle's cool.
Oh no, I think we're having Bill's Amish internet's not working again.
Oh, yeah, we just cut out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, that might have just been my picture. So, Irish whiskey typically lower alcohol than what you and I are used to. Pretty much all alcohol in Europe is lower alcohol content. For Irish stuff, I think the reason being the stereotypes are pretty true. They're drinking all day, so they drink lower proof stuff. Like Guinness is like 4% alcohol. Most Irish whiskey is around 80 to 86% alcohol.
Proof.
Oh, sorry. Proof. Thank you. This one is 40% alcohol, so 80 proof. So low proof, but it's
that's low proof. That's what I tend to go for. I don't like the higher proof shit.
Oh, really?
Other than E.H. Taylor.
Yeah, E.H. Taylor is 100 proof.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
but that's the only one. What's Heaven Hill?
The 7 years is 100 proof also.
Okay, so I guess I like some of them.
Yeah, I've given you some higher proof stuff that you've liked before too. But Irish whiskey, so it's a pot still whiskey, I believe, and it's got pretty much a bourbon mash bill, 80% corn, 20% malted barley, and it's aged in ex-bourbon barrels and finished in New American oak. So I haven't tried this yet. It's like real woody on the nose and kind of got some lemony scent to it. That's really good. I like it.
Did you just buy that bottle or off the look and the toad, or did you do some research?
I was just kind of like, I was looking for, so I got invited to this this kind of whiskey tasting where you have to bring an Irish whiskey with some of the local neighborhood dads, and they're going to do it around St. Patrick's Day. So I started looking for some new Irish whiskeys because everybody knows your Jamesons and your Proper 12 and Tullamore Dew and stuff like that. So I wanted to find something a little off the beaten path, and I think I might have found the bottle I'm going to bring because this is really nice. It definitely has those typical Irish whiskey notes, that like green apple-y, but I think the bourbon barrel aging really is what appeals to me. Kind of brings that oakiness through on it. So it's definitely sweet. Would probably go really good in a ginger ale, something like that.
Sounds nice.
Yeah. So I'll save you a pour.
Is it better than the old Proper 12?
I'd say, yeah. I'd say if you were going to decide between Proper 12 and the Natterjack.
What's the price? Did you mention that already?
Oh, it was like under $30.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll definitely get one of those because I just like the bottle and the toad.
Yeah. And they have you know, I really wanted to try it because they have a cast strength and the toad is like metal on the front.
artwork reminds me of some sort of book that we saw when we were kids, and I can't place the. It's like a foggy memory, but I bet in the next couple of days we'll figure it out.
Is it The Adventures of Mr. Toad?
No, I've never heard of that, but I'll find it.
Is the book about toads? Or is it
No, I
just
don't think
about
I don't know. Remember anything about the toad? It's just something about the art style.
just that kind of grayscale realism? I see. Well, I think I found my my new favorite Irish whiskey for the season coming up. So I'm definitely gonna look into their cast strength, unless the fine folks at Natterjack want to send me some samples. I'd be happy to try them. It's from the Gortonor Distiller Company.
Brunswick.
Yeah. In Dublin. All right. All right. So what'd you think of the fights last week? It was you think
I'd be honest, I just saw the Izzy fight.
You think Izzy's at the end of his rope, or he's still got another run in him?
I think that's totally up to him, and it's fine either way. Like Izzy's like a goat isn't what I'm like. He's not the goat, but if we're having a flock of goats, he would definitely be in the flock of goats.
Flock of goats. Yeah. I mean, he's phenomenal. In my opinion, the second best middleweight of all time. I would still put him behind Anderson Silva just because the run of Anderson Silva in his prime was nothing short of amazing. I mean, what he did to top level competition on the feet and on the ground, submitting world champions, knocking out world champions. The guy was just untouchable for such a long stretch of time, and he was good everywhere. You couldn't, if you were having trouble with him on the feet and you took him down, you'd have trouble with him on the ground. One of the most well-rounded champions we've ever had. he couldn't wrestle, but he never had to. He was good off of his back, and he was outstanding on the feet. But I hope that Izzy takes a little time off and regroups and comes back more motivated.
I think you just should wait for if he wants to still fight, he should just wait for a fight that gets him excited. He doesn't need to be fighting contenders anymore. He can just yeah. We keep coming back to this, but there needs to be like not a senior league, but just like I guess they kind of do it with the BMF belt, like that type of thing, like just a big fight.
Yeah, the fight I want to see. I want to see Adesanya and Michael Venom Page.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight.
Because Michael Venom Page looked really good against Shara Bullet, and he said that he wanted to master the weight cut and stay at middleweight for a little while. Who wouldn't want to see that fight?
Yeah, that's a great fight. It's a big fight. It's two big names.
I feel like that's a challenge that would get Izzy motivated, because here's another big name guy who's tricky, dynamic striker. He would have to really game plan for him. I don't think, no disrespect to Nagimavov, but like nobody really knows that guy. I can't see Izzy wanting to get off the couch and train and game plan for a guy like that. I'm sure he did, but I think it would be a lot more intensive if he were going to prepare for a fight with Michael Venom Page.
You think? I just want him to do whatever he wants to do, and he could. I mean, he could still be a superstar outside the cage, and doesn't really need to fight.
Well, but I also want him to.
And his internet.
Okay.
And you're back.
Yeah. Did I freeze or was I just gone?
Oh, you froze.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi. Like something's going on in the area with Wi-Fi lately because it's happened at the gym also where the Wi-Fi hasn't been working and it's not even the same provider. But
Now
yeah,
that you say something, we've been having troubles at work. It lags.
yeah, there's something going on.
Hmm.
Something going on. Maybe
Maybe we should get Bryce Mitchell on it.
oh yeah. Go ahead, play it. No matter
Get the lie from Satan, brother.
no matter what crazy shit he says, that clip will always make me laugh.
Yeah.
You know, you've said some fucked up shit when Sean Strickland comes out and says, like, yeah, he said some dumb shit. Like, if Sean Strickland won't even defend you, you've gone too far.
I wish I could have heard the conversation that some UFC brass had with Sean Strickland this week. And like, hey, like, we know this is kind of your thing to say wild shit, but we kind of need to lay low this week.
Yeah, and then he basically almost comes out with a Hitler mustache. Like I had to do a double take.
No, now you're grabbing it. That's a mustache.
I don't know.
Almost.
When I saw like the first clip of him, like he was like turning his head, and I was like, oh, his head's completely shaved, which it usually isn't, and he's got the mustache grown in, and the way he moved his head, I'm like, did this guy come out with the Hitler stash? But then he turned his head back, and I'm like, all right, it's just a mustache, but
it's a Charlie Chaplin stash.
Yeah. Did you ever see the Key and Peele sketch about that?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he's Key has the Hitler mustache and Jordan Peele comes to his house and he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, no, I love Charlie Chaplin. And then he goes in his kitchen and he's got a Nazi flag hanging up and he's like, well, what is that? And he's like, no, this is a prop from the producers.
Yeah.
I love
show business.
Yeah. And it kind of got progressively worse from there. In any case, let's talk some MMA. I'm kind of interested in this rematch. Just because, Strickland is so convinced that he won the first fight. I haven't gone back and rewatched it, but I remember at the time scoring it for Strickland. But it was close. Obviously, it was a split decision, right?
Yeah, it was a split decision, but it was kind of one of those. We always seem to say like, if you're he was the champion at the time, and it's like I know that doesn't play into the judges, but we all know sometimes it does, and it's like it seemed like it was a robbery just because of that little fact, but
yeah, because if it's so close, but the problem with that is you have to do that for every round. And you can't say like, well, this round was close, but Strickland's the champ.
Yeah, I know. And I know that's kind of like bending the rules or whatever, but it just seems like it usually goes that way.
Yeah. That kind of comes from boxing where there's 12 rounds and in those 12 rounds, there's a lot of nothing happening. So when nothing happens in a round, you could say like, well, give that one to the champ.
Yeah, I guess.
Like neither of them hit each other. So the champ gets that one. But in MMA, it's a little different. In MMA, it's like, wow, that was close. Dricus had the takedown, but Strickland landed more jabs. Which way do we go with it? So since we're already in conversation about this, let's just start with this one. When I look at this, and I imagine Dricus is the favorite because he won the last fight, right?
Correct. Minus 205.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of about where I would have guessed it would be. And because any higher and there would just be too much money coming in on Strickland as the underdog because the last fight was so close. And normally, when a younger fighter wins a title fight and a rematch, they say the younger fighter wins again, only quicker. These guys are pretty close in age. It was a really close fight. Strickland is totally convinced that he won. The X factor for me is that of these two guys, if you were to ask me which one of them I think is more likely to have evolved since the last fight, I would tell you without a doubt it's Dricus Du Plessis. He's probably adapted his game plan. He knows exactly how he needs to empty or conserve his gas tank against Strickland. And he's probably going to come in with a similar but more adapted game plan. He's probably still going to attack the legs. He's definitely still going to grapple and make Strickland carry his weight, even though Strickland doesn't tend to get tired. I think Strickland's still going to come in with the same game plan. He's going to throw 1,000 jabs. He's going to use his tricky kind of marching teeps. And I don't see him doing much different than he did in the first fight, which is why I would lean towards Dricus. But I mean, it's an interesting matchup. Like I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. So which way are you leaning on this?
I mean, I'm team Strickland, but the big question is what's Strickland going to do differently to win this fight? And I don't think he's going to change. He has the ability to change much. I mean, I'd imagine a guy that spars as much as he does, he just has a style, and he's not going to do a bunch of new shit.
Yeah.
And so even though it's minus 205, I'm going to take the champ with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So your dollar's going to the South African here.
Regretfully.
Yeah. I know Strickland's your boy. Man, it's like logically, when I break it down like that, it's a no-brainer, right? Like, I think Strickland's going to come in the exact same fighter that he was in the last fight, and I think Du Plessis is going to come in with some new tricks up his sleeve to address that. But at the same time, Strickland just seems to win fights when he's supposed to lose.
Well, he's consistent. So if somebody has a bad night, that's not going to happen for him. He's
right.
Although this time he clearly has a staph infection. So we'll see what that does to his.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it kind of depends how far along it is. And it depends if he took any antibiotics.
Well, the picture I saw, it looks like it's in the pussy stage, and
pretty fresh.
Didn't look that. It's not that good.
Well,
let's put it this way: Sean Strickland was wearing KT tape on camera, and if I know anything about Mr. Sean Strickland, KT tape isn't. He doesn't use that regularly.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's KT tape is kind of the purpose it's intended for is kind of bullshit, in my opinion. I keep a roll of it in my gym bag, and what I use it for is if I have a cut or something, I'll put a Band-Aid over the cut with some Neosporin, and I'll put the KT tape over that, because even if it gets sweaty, it won't rub off. So yeah, I don't think he's fooling anybody. I don't know if he's trying to fool anybody. Has he been openly asked about it? Have you seen anything?
Yeah. I was actually going to get that clip. Yeah, they asked him about it, and Sean Strickland it. Took it that he denied it, but he's like, even if I had it, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
but it's a big ass pussy sore.
You guys think this is bad? You should have seen what my dad did to me, and he just deflects to something else. Yeah. I could see where he would have gone with that. I think to a guy who has the level of cardio of a Sean Strickland, and who is as tough as he is, I don't think it'll make much difference. But it is a 5-round fight, and staph is kind of funny, man. It affects people differently. For some people, it'll wipe them out like they have the flu, and for some people, they won't really have any symptoms. So
yeah, I was kind of more worried about if the fight was going to happen or not, because it's not in a place that, maybe he'll fight with tape over it, but
if it's allowed. I don't know how strict the athletic commission is over there in Australia. Maybe Mark could shed some light on that for us, because
We haven't
Mark's been active in the chat here. He says that weigh-ins are live in 3 minutes, but then he corrected and said it's an hour and 3 minutes. And he's questioning if Tatiana Suarez is going to make 125. But it should be 115, shouldn't it? This is a strawweight title fight.
Yeah, so I definitely think she's going to make 125.
Yeah, she'll be well under 125, Mark. I think she makes it. I mean, she's a wrestler. She's a professional. She's big though. I mean, she's actually monstrous for 115 pounds. It's amazing that she's able to make that. I mean, 5'5", and she's got, broad shoulders. She carries a lot of muscle. Yeah, let's switch it up this week. We normally start at the bottom of the main card and work our way up. So we brought up Tatiana Suarez. She was my pick last year when we did a show for the new year. I said that at the close of 2024, she would be a champion if she was able to stay active and stay healthy. That wasn't the case. She, wasn't active enough in 2024, but in my opinion, she's the best strawweight and probably the best flyweight in the world. I see 2 division championship in her future. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I know, Weili Zhang is an incredible fighter, but I'm really high on Tatiana Suarez. I have been since she came in the UFC, and the fact that she is in some type of relationship with Patchy Mix, and they train together, will only raise her game that much more. Add that level of grappling knowledge to her already outstanding wrestling and her toughness. She's going to be a handful for anyone to deal with. But if anyone can deal with it, it's Weili Zhang, because she's super tough. We know she's been working with Henry Cejudo with the wrestling. I don't know how much they've been working in this camp, but I know in past camps she's been working with him, and her wrestling has come a long way. I mean, she stuffed the hell out of Carla Esparza in their fight, but Carla Esparza's wrestling is not on the same level as Tatiana Suarez's. So, I would think they have the champ as a slight favorite here.
Yeah, plus 100, opposite minus. No, the other way. Suarez is the favorite at minus 120.
Really?
I know it's been even and it's flip flopping, and it seems like this is the betting fight here.
Yeah,
on the card.
I was thinking that Suarez would be a slight underdog, and if that were the case, I would be making my way to the betting window.
Oh, well, you do remember this is a pay-per-view, so you have $1 here.
I have $1?
Yeah, it's a pay-per-view. That's what we're doing this year. Is you get $1 on the pay-per-view.
Okay, I'm putting my dollar on Tatiana Suarez then.
At the favorite. Okay, well, I agree. I agreed with you when you said she's going to be a champion, and for some reason I thought she had like a disease, but it looks like she just hurt her knee.
No, she did. She had shit. I don't want to misdiagnose her.
No, but that even so, it wasn't now that the disease or her that issue fucked up her wrestling career.
Yeah, she had thyroid cancer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this is going to be the passing of the torch. I just hope like her hanging around with Patchy, like he hasn't been fighting forever. So
yeah, I mean he's caught up in some contract disputes and
some
things.
bullshit.
Right now,
I'm sure he'll be there. Maybe he can talk to Dana.
I would love to see Patchy Mix in the UFC, and it looks like Patricio Pitbull might make his way to the UFC.
He's old. Who's he gonna fight? Volk?
Michael Chandler. Those guys had some wars. So I think they have some unfinished business.
Well, on this
And
fight,
yeah,
what?
man,
Go
I'd
ahead.
like to see Pitbull and Volk. That would be a fun fight too.
Yeah,
I know he's old, but like he's still on some good steroids. He probably knows how
well,
to
so's
skirt the
Volk.
desk.
So
He's got
like
some money.
that's what I've been talking about. Like those, they just need to make the good fights like that of the older
Yeah,
guys.
let's do it.
When I say older, younger than me. But on this fight, I'm actually going to take Tatiana Suarez by submission at plus 225.
Ooh, can I change him? Can I put my dollar on that?
You can do whatever you want. It's your
What
dollar.
What is she by TKO?
Mm, plus 700.
Oh, give me that.
Okay.
I'm putting my dollar on that. Because I think with 5 rounds to work, I think she can finish her with ground and pound. Yeah, plus 700.
Yeah, plus 700. Yes.
So that means a dollar wins how much?
$7, $8.
Yeah, give me that all day.
Yeah, $8.
I might have to fire up a betting app. I gotta get that Hard Rock app to work. I've never gotten it to work.
It works great for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I forget what happened. Like they wouldn't let me log in, and it's like we can't validate your credentials or some shit.
Oh, I had one initially. I had to send him a copy of my driver's license.
Yeah, it was something like that. But the way they said it was, we're gonna reach out to you, and then they didn't, and then I didn't know what to do with it from there. So I just kind of let it go by the wayside. So maybe I just should go to the Hard Rock and see if I could sign up in person. It's only like a half hour away.
Well, we could just call it here.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get a representative from the Hard Rock live on the show right now.
Right now.
Right now. Give me
No,
the.
I was talking about call it here on this terrible card.
Oh. I like the Jake Matthews Francisco Prado fight. That one's interesting to me.
Who's Prado? Explain him to me.
He's a Argentinian kid, young, 22 years old. He's only got 2 losses, and they're both in the UFC. Decision losses to Jamie Malarkey and Daniel Zellhuber. But other than that, he's finished every single fight that he's been in. I mean, he TKO'd Otman Azaitar, who's a really great boxer. And that pretty much sums up his UFC career. But before that, he was knocking out and submitting everyone that he fought. Now, I think a Jake Matthews is a little too much too soon, but if it's not, then I'm interested to see what this kid can do.
I mean, I kind of looked at it like the Jake Matthews Australian. Well, he's a Celtic kid, but does he train over there or something?
Yeah,
For some reason,
he's got some kind of affiliation there.
So like he's opened up the main card. I was like, I don't think.
Yeah, he is Australian.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, just some of the rules I go, I would pick Jake Matthews here. I think he's put there to fire up the card.
So, what are you gonna do with your $5 since you want to put one on a prelim? You want to?
I mean, we can talk about the 2, but there's just 2 more. We might as well.
All right. So you got Dricus Du Plessis, Tatiana Suarez, and Jake Matthews so far.
Yeah, but this all doesn't matter. I'm not betting on any of the main event cards or fights. I'm putting my $5 somewhere else this week. But
well, where are you putting your $5?
Cody Steele is fighting this weekend. I've talked to you about this guy a couple times. He's the jiu-jitsu phenom that's been kicking everyone's ass. He's fighting wherever Marab and Aljo are training.
Yeah, well, I hope I don't have to say you wrong because he's fighting Zurong,
yeah.
who has 31 MMA fights.
Yeah. I mean, this dude is, he's a wrestler turned jiu-jitsu guy that's seeming to get some good hands.
Yeah, with a name like Cody Steele, you have to go into fighting or porn.
I mean, he could probably do either. He is a little guy, but
Yeah, I mean, 5'9", 155, 27 years old. He's only got one submission.
yeah, I mean, he's beating everyone's ass, and but he's a very physical grappler. Like he's
Okay. All right. I can get on board with this. So all $5 going on Cody Steele to win
by
straight
round
up.
2 KO.
Okay. And what does that pay out?
42.70.
All right.
We're going back to the old days of, oh well.
Mr. Jackpots.
And there's actually a guy named Colby Thickness fighting on this card.
Yeah, he's fighting the
Toporia's brother.
yeah. You think that guy's any good?
Toporia's brother?
Yeah.
No.
I know
mean,
nothing about it. I just know that when I've seen other things like this, it just doesn't go well.
Yeah, like it's
What's his name? Muhammad Usman.
Usman's older brother is just like, yeah, like he's there, but
I don't think he's there anymore. I think he's somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean he was there. Clay Guida's older brother was the same kind of thing. He was a middleweight, had a couple of fights in the UFC. It was, there's always, there's never really two in a family.
Well, there is, but there have been football players.
The Nogueira brothers,
the Diaz brothers
are an example. Yeah, the Diaz brothers. Although, neither of them really made it to
be careful
championship level.
Be careful. Wait, wasn't Nick a champion in Strikeforce?
Was he?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Oh yeah. Well, he was a champion in the WEC.
What does that mean? Anything? What did that mean? Anything at that time?
Oh wait, he was also a Strikeforce welterweight champion. Okay. All right, so yeah, I'll give you that one. The Diaz brothers. Let's see. Have there been any other siblings?
Kind of.
Like
the guy by the last name of Jones, he happens to have some pretty stellar athlete brothers.
Right, but we're just talking MMA.
Oh.
Shevchenko is another example of the former that we were talking about.
I know a potential one, and that's the Piera's.
Okay. Him and his sister?
I mean, it's potential. It's not happened yet, but I mean, she's still winning fights. She's just starting out.
Yeah, man, I think she's getting fed some tomato cans over there in Karate Combat, but
hey, I said potential.
Yeah. She could do it. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think probably the Nogueira brothers is the best example of siblings in MMA that have done really well.
No, according to the GPT, it's the Gracie family.
What have they ever done?
And the Martinez brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I guess. But wait. Have there been...
This thing's so crazy because it's got the Fertitta brothers listed too.
I don't think there's been sibling Gracies that have done well. There's been cousins.
I don't either. It's got, well, it also says the Nurmagomedov brothers. I think that's closer, right? Man, AI, man, this is the next thing. I'll tell you what.
Well, I used AI to write the description for this podcast, and it said, "Will Dricus Du Plessis be able to avenge his loss against Sean Strickland?"
Well, it's right there.
Yeah, I guess AI is jumping to the conclusion that Sean Strickland should have won.
Man, that is terrible. And it's not ChatGPT. I'm using Google. Well, how much did they pay for this bullshit? The Fertitta brothers. They started making their walk down the cage in 2001.
I mean, can't argue with that. The Fertittas are probably the real MMA goats. They saved MMA.
I mean, okay, and the Gracies, I guess they have some impact.
Mark Fellows says DDP and Adesanya are African brothers. That's good. Man, why can't I think of any other?
The Burns brothers, the Diaz brothers, the Millers, the Shevchenkos, the
Miller is another example. Like
Shamrocks,
like Jim brothers. Jim Miller definitely is more of a legendary fighter than his brother.
Pettis.
Yeah. They both have won titles, right?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, Sergio was the Bellator bantamweight champion,
and there's a Wheaties box in there too.
Yeah, Anthony Pettis was the WEC and the UFC lightweight champion.
Yeah, it's the huge.
Isn't Conor McGregor's oh no, it's his cousin or something is fighting in BKFC.
Man, it's really getting Dominick Reyes and his brother.
No.
Nothing good, but there are a lot of brothers and sisters in the UFC.
Yeah, but usually one is better.
This site sucks. Stephen Thompson and Chris Weidman.
Well, that doesn't count. They're brothers by marriage.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, that's a brother. That counts.
Because
that counts.
Chris Weidman married his Wonder Boy's sister.
Wow, that's kind of weird.
Or Wonder Boy married Chris Weidman's sister. I don't remember, but they're brother-in-laws. So,
well, there's not much other news. I mean, the GFL stuff that's it.
Oh, yes, there is. Dominick Cruz has retired.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that too. That sucks.
Yeah, so he was supposed to fight. What was he supposed to fight? Rob Font.
Yeah.
At UFC Seattle, and dislocated his shoulder again. He's going to need surgery. So he decided to hang it up.
I was listening to the John Anik show, and I didn't listen to his interview. Did you listen to it?
I started to. It was one of those things where I was like driving, and Dominick Cruz came on, and he was on for like 5 minutes, and then I got wherever I was driving to, and I shut it off.
I was wondering because it didn't seem down in the dumps, because I did the same thing. I heard the beginning, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to this, and moved on. And then I saw this headline, and I was wondering, man, did he like have that moment like in that day, or
like right after?
Yeah. Wow.
Or do you think he already knew while he was on the show?
I don't know. I think that would be a proper place to break that news. Maybe he does in the podcast. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, I guess we got to listen to the rest of the episode to find out.
Yeah.
But I think John Anik buries the lead a lot. He would have led with that. You know, when John Anik knows something, he's not good at like building tension to it. He just kind of he gets right to it when he's got something on his mind.
No, he announced it on Instagram.
Oh.
It doesn't say the damn date. Anyway, sucks for him.
Do you think I don't think that's the last time we see Dominick Cruz compete.
I do. I think he's
I don't think
I always
he
get
might not do MMA, but I think he'll do a grappling super fight or
maybe, but I don't see him fighting under any other banner. He seems like the UFC through and through.
No, I don't think he'll do MMA, but he'll grapple or something. I mean, he's a competitor.
Bare knuckle boxing. No, he wouldn't do that.
I mean, he would, like, his style would translate pretty well to it.
Yeah, his style would, but I don't think his personality. He seems like he's above that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he does seem like he would look down his nose at that kind of thing. But
and he's still gainfully employed from the UFC, so
yeah. He's got a bright future in commentary for sure. I mean, he's a brilliant mind in MMA. I think the way he talks and the way he carries himself is definitely an acquired taste. I think if you're not used to him.
Oh yeah, the first time you meet him, you're definitely, when you walk away, you're like, man, that guy's a prick. It
Oh
takes a
yeah.
while to get used to him.
Yeah, for sure. I think he probably closes off to 99% of people he interacts with. And even the way he breaks down things like so matter of factly, it could come off as like, a little arrogant or pompous, but I mean, the guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I can respect that. I get that. That happens to me all the time at work. They're like, you're being an asshole. I'm like, no, you fucked up.
Yeah. You're not supposed to put the blinker fluid in there.
Yeah. So, I wish it was that simple sometimes.
Oh, why are those blinker fluid flushes so darn expensive, by the way? Explain that.
Well, depends. I guess it depends how stupid they think you are.
Yeah. Well, got my answer there. $400 blinker fluid flush.
Man, I wonder if anybody's actually ever tried that.
The joke has to have originated from somewhere.
Well, I remember as one of the first, it was like Vine, the first Instagram videos. I remember that from the parents would send their kids into the auto parts store to get some blinker fluid or a muffler bearing or.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first.
So
I remember seeing that, and that was like what, 2012 probably.
Yeah, that's how I found my mechanic when I first moved here. I knew I needed rear brake pads, so I sent my wife to the mechanic and I said, just tell him the brakes are making noises and don't say anything else. And they called back a half an hour and they were like, you just need rear pads. It's going to be whatever it was, $70 each. I don't remember. But I was like, all right, these guys are honest. Let's
$70. You couldn't, man, you can't even pull in our property for $70.
Yeah, well, I don't drive an Audi, sir.
Kinda.
I pulled on your property for free a few weeks ago.
Yeah. $70, man. So some of the prices we have to charge is insane.
Yeah. And the markup on the parts is pretty obscene, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't understand. I've never understood how how in the hell do you do that?
It's
But the kind of things we're seeing in the news these days, I guess you just do whatever the hell you want to. Charge what? Dwayne.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put that comment up just because I don't want to put them in hot water. In any case, I trust Cook's Auto World for most of my mechanic needs these days. You guys should too if you live in this area. Let's see. So yeah, if I didn't say it already, huge respect to Dominick Cruz. I definitely admire what that guy has accomplished in the sport, and he had a style that I think can never be duplicated or replicated. The way he fought was just so unique, with the bobbing head movement and the way he would mix in his wrestling. Nobody's ever done it before or since.
And his footwork,
his in and out of the pocket. Yeah. Footwork. And it wasn't traditional footwork. It wasn't boxing footwork. It wasn't MMA footwork. It was Dominick Cruz footwork is its own thing. It's like its own category. The way he would switch stances and move his head so much, like so far out of position. I would never advise anyone to do that as a beginner. If somebody came in the gym and started moving like that, I would say, what the fuck are you doing? That is not at all what this is.
It looks exhausting.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that's impressive about it. But, he created a style that worked for him. And, he was so well-rounded. He had a great wrestling base, wrestling out in Arizona. And, his striking was great. Never had a lot of power, but he made up for that with volume and movement. And, future Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I only got to see him fight a couple times, but I can respect his attitude when he's on the table. So I hope he gets his shoulder fixed and look forward to seeing him back on the commentary team.
Yeah. So congratulations, Dominick Cruz, on your retirement. Wish it was better under better circumstances, but here we are. So Colostrum says, and new strawweight champion of the world, Tatiana Suarez. If you tuned in earlier to the show, you would know that Matt and I both agree with you. And that's what our money is on. I'm betting my entire dollar on Tatiana Suarez by TKO at plus 700. I think that's a great value. I could definitely see her TKOing Weili Zhang.
You're going to be pissed when she darces her.
When Weili, if Tatiana wins by submission?
Yeah.
I don't know. Has Weili ever been submitted?
That's a good point. I'm not sure.
She's too wily for that.
I think she's looking older, man. You can see it.
I mean, she's 35 for a 115-pound fighter. That's should be collecting Social Security. I don't think they have that in China,
though. I don't think she's in China too much.
It doesn't seem like it.
All right. Well, that's all I got. I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Let me give this to you, just because we didn't talk about it explicitly. The main event, you're picking Dricus, but you're rooting for Sean Strickland, right?
Oh, 100%.
All right, just want to.
But I just don't know what the hell he's gonna do. What is he like?
Yeah, like how does he beat this guy when he's gonna come in with the same? It's just gonna be a matter of like, can he push the pace a little more?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing he could do is push the pace, because he has one of the most iconic styles that you don't get by just that. That's just like the only way you have a style like that is by fighting like that, and only that way. Like that is the way he fights. What is he gonna? He's not. And the storyline is Poaton's in his corner. Well, I'm pretty sure Poaton was in the corner the last time, and that don't mean anything.
Yeah, it's not like he's gonna come out and start throwing spinning wheel kicks and like fucking wrestling. Like he's not gonna do any of that. He's gonna be throwing his jab in Dricus's face. And here's what I like about Dricus Du Plessis. Fundamentally, the guy does everything wrong. Like if you break down his striking, his wrestling, everything, he doesn't do anything technically correct, but he gets away with it on sheer will. Like he just wills himself for the techniques to work, and then they do. And he's also a guy that even if he's exhausted, he can keep pushing. And that's what a champion is in my book.
And he doesn't allow his opponent to do anything with his mind. Like Sean already obviously knows that. He spent the whole week talking shit to Khamzat because he knows that it's wasted. I mean, he really doesn't have much to say. What are you going to say? Oh, you stupid idiot. You got a 10 girlfriend, you know, you got a body and you live in fucking, you know, if you fish all the time, you piece of shit. Like,
yeah. Yeah. That guy, and he can sing.
yeah, there's nothing to hate on him about. And even if there was, he just doesn't seem to be the guy that will let you
Yeah.
get in his head. He's going
Look
to
at
fight
you.
his style.
Look at you with your fucked up ears from beating the shit out of people.
Yeah. And your dark tan skin from, you know, walking the beach every day.
Yeah. Walking the beaches of South Africa. All right. Well, in true MMA on the Rocks fashion, we're peaking in viewership as we're closing out here. So I encourage everybody, come back, subscribe, notifications, you know, all that shit. Tune into the beginning of the episode to find out what was in this glass and my new recommendation for Irish whiskey of the year and all that good stuff. And that's all we got. So until next time, cheers, everybody. Goodbye.